Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Gentlemen, it's good to see you here. Thank you very much. Got some questions for you. I guess I'll start with you, Admiral Chebby, and I think I understand the limitations of what you can answer. However, I am concerned that you don't know the OR rate. I would think that anybody in your position would know the OR rate of every single aircraft that within your command purview. But the V-22, as I understand, was added to the Marine Helicorps Squadron HMX-1 to support the presidential operations, heliborne operations, but the aircraft does not carry the president. Is there some reason that we don't know about, or is there something obvious that we should know about, that we will carry the president's support staff but not the president?
Sir, from my position as airworthiness, the aircraft has been returned to flight with controls in place. The decision of who flies in what airplanes is beyond my control.
So I understand maybe you didn't make the decision, but do you know why it is? Like, we'll fly the presidential support staff, reporters, staff members, equipment in a V-22, but we won't fly the president in one, which would limit, because a V-22 is pretty fast compared to what the president's in. Who makes that decision, and I'm just asking, do you know why it is that? Maybe Mr. Belk knows. Does anybody know on the panel?
Sir, I do not know.
Anybody else? Okay.
Congressman, I don't know.
All right, I'd love that answer if you can get back to us with that. Now, the gentlelady from California asked a lot of questions about the F-35's engines and the V-22. Seems to me, I look at the sling load capability of the 22, 15,000, internal 20,000. And the F-35, I'm going to be generous, I think, because it says 3,750 is the weight of the engine. So let's say 4,000 pounds. Does it cube out before it grosses? Is that okay? So the Admiral said it. What about sling? Did we not sling load F-35 engines? Is there some policy not to sling load them?
Sir, I'm not aware. It does cube out, though, so that's
okay. So I got another question for you. You know, all of us that flew various aircraft, we all know the CH-53 is the only heavy lift helicopter in the inventory. Even those who flew, like me, the 47, the 53 is it. I get it, Admiral. I'll give you that. But the sling capacity is 30,000. The 36,000-pound payload. Does it cube out in a 53 also?
Sir, I'm going to hand that over to the PEO. I'm unaware.
Sir, I'm unaware of the specific cube out, but to your point, it does have that lift capacity as you have described.
So why aren't we using 53s? You guys own them, right? Army doesn't have them. The Air Force has some Pablos, right? So what's the problem? Is it inter-service rivalry that we can't use a 53 in the Navy to move a jet engine? What's happening? I'm just asking. I don't know.
Sure, I'll just answer from you're asking the equivalent of the FAA authority.
Yeah.
What the operational commanders are doing with their assets. That is beyond the scope of
okay.
our responsibility.
Okay, fair enough. It's beyond your scope, and I understand, sir. You take orders. Yours is not to question why. I get it. But for the sake of those who have died, and their families are sitting here behind you, that signed up, wanted to go support and defend their country and everything we believe in, and probably looked at the Osprey and said, this thing's awesome, man. I can't wait to get in it. But there was a lot of us that looked at it and said, holy mother of God, how's this thing going to stay together in flight? And when those nacelles start rotating after the whole wing has been put back to center and all the parts that have to come back together, and what Mr. Lynch was talking about, sprag clutches that have to let go when one engine quits so that you can get the thing on the ground and stay alive, there's a lot of concerns. And we can't, for the sake of we've got to retire the 46, we can't bring the 22 online before it's ready to go because, well, we got to get rid of the 46 and we got a lot of money invested in this thing and the train's rolling. People's lives are at stake and have been lost. I wonder why the Navy just won't buy 47s. 47 was a big 46, right? 46 we called it a baby Chinook. I know you probably are averse to that, and I understand why, but that's what we called it. But the 47's highly capable. It's not as fast as an Osprey, but nothing's as fast as an Osprey in the vertical arena because of the mechanics of it. But when you got to get engines on the deck and keep people alive, use the damn thing that works. And the V-22 has got obvious problems, evidenced by the people sitting behind you, which leads me to my next and final question. The Army's preparing to launch the V-280 Valor program. I know I'm talking about the Army program here to replace the Black Hawk fleet. Now, we've learned a lot with the V-22, but apparently we haven't learned enough, whether it's like my good friend from Texas says, training, or whether it's the mechanics. Service members are dying, which is unacceptable. It's bad enough they die in combat, but it's unacceptable that they die either due to lack of training, complexity of the aircraft, or the aircraft itself. What lessons can any of one of you tell us that we have learned on the 22 that we're not going to replicate on the 280?
Sir, certainly as you reference, it's an Army program. It is not a program that I have insight into with regards to my portfolio, so I can't speak to where we are with regards to the V-280 and what the Army is currently doing at this time.
What is the 22 going to be replaced with?
Sir, I am not aware of, at this point,
Admiral?
at this time, the service and plans for replacement of the V-22.
You're sure that the CMV-22 is, halfway through the production run, so it is a brand new aircraft. I'm not sure any plans right now are in place to replace the CMV-22.
Well, I will say this, Mr. Chairman, and then I'll yield back. I get it, and it is expensive halfway through the life cycle, but if we can't get it right, at some point we have to acknowledge we just can't get it right. This thing shouldn't fly because it's too dangerous. We get the concept. We would love to do it. It's awesome to look at. When it's working right, it's awesome. But it's not working right enough to accept, and there are other acceptable alternatives. And oh my God, even though we're in the Navy, we'll put a different coat of paint on this damn thing and call it some kind of Navy term and fly this 47 instead, or maybe even better, 53, highly capable in the Navy's program. Let's use that and just say, look, we're not going to get there quite as fast because we don't have an Osprey, but we're going to get there alive, which is really damn important to the mission, and it's really important to the people that want to serve in the United States Uniformed Services, do their service, protect their country, but then come home safely to their families. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield.